welcome to episode 114 of Gracefully, and frankly, on this auspicious day, I'm Erin Davis.
What are you suspicious about? I'm Lisa Brandt. Yes, welcome. Are you talking hockey, or are you talking or what are you talking about?
Well, kind of a combination. I think that you should watch your email for when I get the award for Best Wife Ever. I'm so sorry you're not going to be in the running for 2025, Lisa, no matter how many wonderful lemon thyme chicken wings you make, or whatever it is that Derek likes the best.
Lemon pepper chicken strips every night. Oh, my goodness. Help me. Okay, so what have you done?
All right. Well, today marks Rob's and my 37th wedding anniversary.
Yay! Congratulations.
Thank you. It's not a big one, but...
It's not a big one. Are you kidding? All of mine together don't make that many years. So anyway, go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm sure you're wrong about that, but thank you. As you and everybody else who bleeds red and white knows, the Canada-U.S. hockey game is tonight in Boston. So, as soon as we knew this was happening tonight, and by the way, Rob is flying in this afternoon from Victoria because we timed this. Come back on February 20th. We'll spend a few days here, and then we will blessedly point our car home. So he's flying in this afternoon, and tonight we had reservations at a white tablecloth, candle-lit restaurant. Made the reservations back in December, and we were going to have a romantic dinner. This is where the needle gets ripped off the old record. And here's the thing. It was my idea to postpone our anniversary dinner plans tonight because we don't have a PVR down here.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's not like we could tape the game, run home, stay in a bubble somehow, and watch the game. So that's what we're doing tonight. I think it might be your lemon pepper chicken strips in the air fryer.
That's wonderful, though. How good are you? So you're still going to go out, though, right?
Yes, I was able to move the reservations. We're going to go out tomorrow night instead, and all is well. I mean, it helps when you can say, yeah, put us in at 5 o'clock. We don't care. It'll still be dark when we're driving home. And
yeah.
Oh, I am taking a bottle of alcohol-free dry champagne. What do you think a restaurant around here charges for corkage fees? And we know what corkage fees are, right?
Right, where they open it for you. Basically, you bring it, they open it and pour it.
Right.
I don't know. Do you know?
Yes, it's easily 3 times the price of the bottle of fake champagne.
Wow.
$30 corkage fee. Yeah. U.S. And it's not even the good stuff, Lisa.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm sure it's going to be wonderful. I was a little concerned when you said you had reservations after 37 years of marriage. But now that I understand, it sounds really good. Yeah, and of course, by the time this hits people's ears, we might know who won. I mean, it's going to be Canada, so that's okay. So we can just leave it there.
I hope
so, too.
Yeah. But the patriotism, and I love having seen so much on our social media from Americans who know we're not booing you, we're booing the government and the decisions that they're making that are hurting us and you and everybody who realizes the implications of everything.
Right. I just saw a thread from someone who said they were over the border and a guy in a store told him that he's talked to lots of Canadians who want to be the 51st state. Of course, it's not true.
No.
But this is the problem with anecdotal anything, is that you hear something and assume it's true for everything. Oh, we see it in everyday life. But we do have a lot of American support for even buying Canadian.
Yeah.
People are looking for Canadian products going, wow, we didn't even know we had so much of your stuff here. So it's time for everyone to learn.
And we are. And you've got an inside track on an app. Can you tell us about that? Or is it too inside?
Oh, no, it's not inside at all. It's called Maple Scan, and it's an app developed by a couple of Canadians. You knew that people were scrambling to do this as soon as they caught a whiff of people trying to discern what was Canadian, what wasn't. So it's still in a testing phase. It can't be put out wide for a couple weeks or some sort of rules. But you can go to their website, which I've done, maplescan.ca, and put your email in, and they'll let you know when it's available. It's going to be free. So it tells you scan the barcode or the label. I'm not quite sure how it works. I don't have it yet. And it tells you whether the brand is Canadian, If it's not, it recommends a Canadian alternative.
Oh,
It tells you whether there are tariffs on this particular brand of whatever it is. And you can also do a deeper dive, and it'll have the company's history so you can find out when it changed hands, who owns it now, who owns how much, and all that kind of stuff. Because that's another big education for a lot of people right now. What? You mean such and such isn't Canadian owned or whatever? So this thing sounds like it's going to be great.
wow. MapleScan.
.ca. Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, cool, isn't it?
We'll keep an eye out for that.
One of those companies is Tim Hortons.
Right.
A lot of people are quite surprised that it's not a true Canadian brand, although they say they've endeavored all along to try and keep things as Canadian as possible. But they have some work to do, right?
Yeah, they do. And they're doing it apparently. Last week in episode 113, I told you that Rob got the side eye from someone in our condo elevator saying, I hope the stuff in your little wagon is Canadian. And when he got home, Folgers coffee, which he buys for his hockey team, isn't. And I said to you that he was considering taking it back to Costco. So didn't he do the half-hour drive back to Costco to take the Folgers back?
Wow.
Yes. I was so proud of him.
Good for him.
Yeah, and then he had to do the search for a more Canadian coffee, and the most Canadian coffee on their shelves, as one would expect, was Tim Hortons, and it says roasted in Canada since 1964.
Cool.
Yeah, and did you see that story in the Star this week about Tim Hortons having an eye on consumer demand as U.S. tariffs uncertainty weighs?
Yeah, well, Tim's has a lot of Canadian stuff in its stores already. Like most of their products come from Canada. They even use Canadian eggs and they try and source homegrown businesses. But because they want to be, thought of as the most Canadian brand, they're looking for other ways to bring things in where it's not Canadian right now. I don't know about you, but I've always felt Tim's has gone way off brand. They should just be doing frickin' coffee and donuts and leave the dressed turkey and flatbread pizza. Okay, I'm exaggerating, but to somebody else. But a lot of people like that stuff. So they have a wide range of products. So they want to make sure as many of them as possible are from Canada.
That makes total sense. Now, if we could just get them to do a lineup for people who only want coffee, and then everybody else who wants their fettuccine Alfredo and salad bar can just stand in another line and wait longer.
Well, I wonder if people would just cheat because something happens when people get into a drive-thru and it's like Lord of the Flies. And people want to get ahead, especially if they're trying to rush to work or whatever. I almost always wave somebody ahead if something happens because I'm not in that much of a rush. But it's kind of funny. I wonder if they've found that, no, people will just go ahead and try and get their flatbread anyway. What are you going to do? Get them to back out? You really can't do anything.
Right. Yeah, good point. Yes.
Did you see the kickback? I did on my Facebook page anyway, when they ran Stompin' Tom Connor's hockey song but rewrote it for football?
Oh, yes.
That
sacrilege.
I loved it. I thought it was so creative and smart and taking something totally Canadian and saying, all right, you can come on in, but we're not giving up hockey. I don't know. Maybe I'm alone, but I absolutely loved it because football became the second best game you can name.
Oh, the good old football game. It's the second best game you can name. And the second best game you can name is the good old football game.
People were complaining, how dare they mess with Stompin' Tom? Well, here's the thing that they forgot about. Stompin' Tom's estate would have had to have approved that.
Yeah, money.
Right. So it's not like anything was taken from him or it wasn't done with his descendants' approval. And that's what struck me as funny. It's like, outrage. Oh, my goodness. Save it for racism and sexism and equal pay. It's the hockey song.
Well, I didn't see it, but I have seen the Canadian Tire ad that's running right now. And it's Rob who brought it to our attention because, he's just steeped in hockey these days, Quelle surprise. And it's from Canadian Tire, and it's short. And why don't we play it?
Sure.
Oh, Canada. Life isn't always easy here. But when harsh winds roll in, we turn and face them. Remember that in our history, almost nothing has been simple. Resilient to our core, we've worked for it, meter by frozen meter. Our kindness, never to be mistaken for weakness. United, when it matters most.
Wow. And you just see the logo, and they don't mention their products or anything like that. They just remind us who they are. That's some great messaging.
Yeah, it is wonderful messaging, and I'm going to be the fly in the ointment again because my brother calls it Chinese tire because so many of the products are sourced from China. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with that. They've got to be competitive, but maybe they'll try a little harder as well to keep more Canadian content inside this Canadian store.
Uh-huh.
Retail's tough, though, right?
It is, and thank goodness you've got that app that you told us about. Maple Scan.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's coming anyway. It should be a real big help. Yep, that makes our hearts swell. Also, I noticed that CBC had an interview with that guy. My name is Joe and I'm Canadian.
Yeah.
That was like 30 years ago or something, or 25 years ago. Yeah.
Oh,
so they did an interview with the guy about how his life changed once it happened and how he got the job and stuff like that. And it's really kind of cool because people still share that one.
Oh, it was one of the best all-time campaigns ever.
Yeah.
It was great. We're so proud of our Canadian companies, and we're really trying to put our money where their business is. And that goes for us with our sponsors, of course. Sierra Sil is one of the reasons that Rob can still play hockey and why a lot of the NHLers are still playing hockey. A lot of them use it. These are mineral capsules. It's based in Vancouver and based on clinical research studies. Sierra Sil Joint Formula 14 capsules are guaranteed to reduce your pain and stiffness within the first 2 weeks. That's what the 14 is in the name, following label directions, of course. And as we say, they are a Canadian company, and we are so glad that they sponsor us here on Gracefully and Frankly because we use them, we love them.
We do, and it's sierrasil.com, Sierra like the mountains, SIL.com. Use the code GF to get 10% off.
Boy, you can be pretty sure a lot of people who have been shoveling this week have wished that they had something for their joint pain. How are you doing in southwestern Ontario, Lisa?
We probably have 1.5 feet. I'm not going to do centimeters because I don't do math very well. But there's just probably 1.5 feet of snow. And I was looking around at records. Last year, we got almost nothing. So this seems like snowpocalypse by comparison, right? It's been about 3 years since we got decent snow, but my friend Carolyn made a really good point. She said, doesn't this feel like a winter of our childhood?
Yep.
And it really does. It's so snowy. It's snow blowing. It's been so cold. The other morning, the wind chill was minus 27. It's like, I'm not going out. Derek was out of milk, so he went and got that, and I put a grocery list in his pocket, and he went and got a bunch of stuff. There's no way I was going if I didn't have to. The only thing that would have gotten me outside was to walk a dog, and there was no dog to walk. So it's not necessarily record-breaking. It is in some places, I think Aurelia and some other places, and a big dumping in Toronto, which, of course, is really hard to get rid of all at once, right?
Yeah, especially when so many people have to park somewhere.
Yeah, but it's just been like a typical old-school winter. The last couple, I think the first winter after the pandemic, we got hit pretty well, and then the last couple have been kind of meh. So it's really taken people, I don't know, by surprise, but it's taken them by storm. So we've had our snowblower out, and I went out, and my job is to take the big broom and clear off the cars and sort of make a little path and stuff. I don't do tons of heavy lifting, but it was a good few-hour job. But you see some of the older guys in the neighborhood, it's almost like they revel in it. They want to get their driveway down to bare as possible, and they just can't wait. You remember those days?
Yes, I do remember. It's the same people who have to have the perfect lawn, right? It's just a matter of pride.
Yes.
But oh my God, Toronto's Pearson International in international news this week for that Delta jet flipping over. Never seen anything like that. And all praise to the flight attendants for getting everybody off.
Yeah, the stories from the people on board. They really praise the flight attendants for just zipping right into action like they're supposed to. And really, most of the times when you're flying, they look like servers in the sky, but they are so well trained, and they're trained for a moment like that, right?
Somebody was saying, I'm flying out of Pearson today, and boy, is everybody paying attention to the safety demonstrations. Yeah. And well, they should. Yeah. Are you like me? I always sit and watch them like a mom watching her 8-year-old in a concert and saying, honey, I'm here, I'm watching, I'm paying attention.
That's how I feel. I feel like I want to be the person that when they look around and think, oh, no one's watching and this is embarrassing.
Why am I doing this?
That they'll see me and it'll be like, oh, there's my gold star flyer. She is paying attention, and maybe she's never flown before because she's paying too much attention. But I want them to feel like, oh, gosh darn it, this is worth it.
Well, it sure as heck is, and we're so proud of the way everybody handled themselves at Pearson. And on the ground, in the plane, everything. And again, all praise to flight attendants. You are not servers in the sky, and we know that. They saved lives. They really did.
They do. We just rarely get a chance to see it, thank goodness.
Yeah, for sure. While we're talking about airlines, what's happening with the flights being cut?
Well, Air Canada says it's being proactive, but they must see data that shows fewer bookings to American destinations. And WestJet says it's seeing a drop in bookings, and it may follow as well and cut back on flights to U.S. locales. So it only makes sense. I mean, everybody's talking about it. Everybody's saying they're going to do it, so it must be happening.
Well, the flights that we've heard about go to Arizona, Florida, and Las Vegas. And these are the vacation destinations. Mm-hmm. And when you get hit by the cold and snow that you guys have had this year, boy, that's when your mettle is really tested, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to stay here because I said I was going to stay here, but I want to be in the sun.
Or just go to Mexico. We have friends who usually go a couple different places, and they've been to Mexico. They're going three times this winter instead of going to the States or whatever.
Yeah, lots of changes. And now, there's a boycott of Airbnb.
Right.
Yeah, so why, you ask? Well, the founder of Airbnb has now joined Elon Musk's Doge, the Doge Bros, the 23-year-olds who are firing FAA and NASA workers and everybody else. And so people are saying enough is enough. Now, I did see a thread that said that the guy left Airbnb 2 years ago, and I'm not sure that that's true.
I don't think it is.
No.
Research I did not show that, because that's the first thing I checked.
Now, my heart goes out to people who rent their homes and apartments and whatever through Airbnb and count on that. My sister Leslie, who lives in West Kelowna, she had 3 bookings for the upper floor of her house this week, and none of them, not one, was Airbnb, and that is a total change for her. They were Vrbo, or VRBO if you prefer, and Booking.com. I mean, they all give to the MAGA movement. They all give in some way, because you see what happens if you don't give. You get trumped on. But it's just a matter of who you're going to support with your money, and people have the freedom to do that.
Right. I would hope, and I don't know, I've never listed anything with Airbnb, but I would hope that it would be easy enough to move to another platform and just, if that's the way it was going to go. I mean, there are all sorts of reasons why different companies fall in and out of favor, right? So this just happens to be politics right now, but things ebb and flow and they change, and sometimes you just get unlucky. Or you make a bunch of stupid bad decisions. One or the other.
Yeah. Well, speaking of stupid bad decisions, the Ontario election is a week today.
Good stuff. You know, I saw a headline, I think it was in the Toronto Star, and it said, what if they held an election and nobody noticed?
Right?
It kind of seems like it's a giant eye roll. And I don't think it's not that they're not noticing. It's just like, oh, why?
All that money that could have gone to healthcare.
Yeah.
You know, all of that money, all the money that could be going to hospitals and where we truly need it.
Yeah.
But those spas aren't going to build themselves. So
No, that's right. And all those highways that won't be done till our children are retired. Yeah.
the tunnel, they might as well bury us there.
Yeah.
Like the big dig in Boston. Look that up and see how long it took. But quite apart from Ontario politics, of course, the federal scene is heating up as well. But you and I have both gotten active in ways that we never have in our 62 years. And what is even happening?
Well, I think there are a couple of things. One is when we were both in radio, we absolutely could not pick a side, be known to be on a side, and everything had to be absolutely neutral and
100%.
right? All those things. And in fact, from a journalism point of view, many people might not know this, but on radio, you have to give equal time to all of the parties. So if Doug Ford happened to call up and want to go on the air with something, we'd have to reach out and get everybody else with equal time. So there were a lot of complications with it. So I think that was one thing. But the other thing is I think we're just pissed off.
Yep.
We're fed up. We're pissed off.
So what were you doing with flyers?
Well, I did say to my local candidate's office for a party that if they needed me, I would help, but I would not make phone calls and I would not talk to people at the door. I don't want that in my life. I don't want to get yelled at. I just don't want any of that. So they said, how about we put you in party-friendly territory and you hand out flyers? All you have to do is go put them at the door and leave. And I'm like, down with that. It's a good walk. I get my steps, and it's pretty passive. So that's what I agreed to do.
Have you done it yet?
Not yet. I have till through the weekend, and it's not even in my own town. So I'll be dressed up with a hat, a scarf, a hood. Nobody's even going to know it's me. And so it's the most wimpy, passive thing I could possibly do in politics. But
But you're doing something. You've gotten yourself out of your studio, out of your comfort zone, and you're doing something.
I guess.
So many of us think, well, this riding's never, ever going to change. It's been this color or that color forever and ever. What's the point? And that's also why they don't vote. But you have to. You just have to.
You do.
Because it only takes a few people to make a difference. I mean, look what happened in the American election where something like 90 million people didn't bother to go and vote. And now they're all like, what's happening to my Social Security? Well,
you're doing something too. And yeah.
Well, if you call yourself a wimp or passive, I am that times 10.
No.
Because I won't have people coming after me on social media. I just won't. And I think I told you I was approached to consider running for the Liberal Party in my riding, which is just so solidly green it would never happen in a million years. But I don't have the thick skin for it. I hate derision and anger and lies, and I won't put myself up for that.
Yeah.
What I did do, though, is I made a donation. And I've never, ever made a donation to a federal party in my life, ever. And I seem to have contributed to a record number of donations.
Well, that's fantastic. See, I don't think that's wimpy at all. And I honestly think that running is only for certain people who can absolutely let it bounce off them. And I don't think there are a lot of those people out there. So I totally get that. Well, that's great. So you've done something, I've done something, and we feel like we're making a difference.
Maybe it's our age. Maybe we're moving into the time of our lives when we see what the world has become and what we want to leave for our children, our grandchildren, those who come after us, for those of us who don't have children. And you just want to make a difference. And I call this the pro part of pro-aging. And I love that anti-aging is disappearing from our conversation.
Yeah, I agree, because aging is the goal. We all want to get older. And what's wrong with aging? I mean, Kim and Kathy at Envy Pillow are calling it proactive aging.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
So do I, because they're not trying to turn back the clock.
Like Cher the other night on the SNL special?
Right.
78, turn back time.
But the idea is to live better now. So whether it's donating to a political party or eating better or getting something that isn't a cheap little skinny pillow to sleep on.
Right.
And looking after your spine, getting better sleep. And just by doing that, you feel better and you look better. So there you go. Envy Pillow can help with that. They've got copper technology and copper infused. No, you won't feel it. You won't know it's there except for the things that it will do for you and your skin.
Yeah, antimicrobial. And it won't turn your skin green either. Actually,
No.
my friend Alan was here who will tell me if there's something wrong because he's that kind of friend. He's the best. He asked me what I was doing for my skin, and I had forgotten to lend him my extra Envy pillow. So he wanted to hear all about it. You can learn all about it. Go to Envy, ENVY, pillow.com, V for victory, Canada, yay. They are Canadian. And learn more. And use the code GF to get 10% off. You did watch the SNL special on the weekend, right? 50 years of Saturday Night Live.
Oh, did we ever? Absolutely loved it. Just to see so many wonderful faces and to get the recreations of some of the best sketches that they did. Yeah, it was good, wasn't it?
Oh, it truly was. And you know what? I am maybe not in the majority. I've never liked Adam Sandler because he puts on that stupid voice where he sounds... So when he had the guitar, I thought, okay, what's going to happen? That was an emotional highlight of the entire night.
Wasn't it?
It was so good.
Derek doesn't like Will Ferrell, and he couldn't help but laugh his head off at the prison sketch.
Yes.
Because of the way Will was dressed, and knowing from hearing from me that Will Ferrell is actually kind of a modest, shy guy, but he'll do anything for a laugh.
Yeah, he had his shorts hiked up to forever. And you could tell that they hadn't done that in rehearsal, Lisa, because when the guys saw him, especially Keenan, who breaks at everything, but when they saw him, it was over.
Well, it's like in the cowbell sketch. The classic cowbell sketch, he came out in a shirt 2 sizes smaller than the one he had in rehearsal, and everybody just lost it. And that's the genius of Will Ferrell.
And please, can we give a shout out to Eddie Murphy for imitating Tracy Morgan next to Tracy Morgan. Oh, my gosh.
He was more Tracy than Tracy was.
Oh, it was great. If you haven't seen it yet, try and find it. The SNL 50 special that was on Sunday night. They were given 3 hours and they went over 4, so good for them. It was terrific. And can I end on a Canadian note?
Please do.
As I get all set for the hockey game tonight, I'm driving along the other day and I see a car that had BC plates, and we sure don't see many of those down here. And we are in the Palm Springs area, and we are heading home, and I'm saying goodbye to Palm Springs for what feels like the final time every day. So I pull up next to this guy at the light, and we look at each other, and he has seen that I'm BC plates. Don't ask how that works out. I don't know who was next to whom when we noticed. But I looked over at him, and I gave him a thumbs up, and he gave me a thumbs up, and then I put my hand over my heart.
Aww.
And he did the same. And it was just like an Oh, Canada moment.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it's brought Canadians together. I mean, Quebec has more pro-Canada polls than any other province. So come on, what world are we living in? This is amazing.
No kidding. It's brought Quebecers into identifying themselves as Canadian first. I saw a video the other day of Quebecers saying, America doesn't know what it's getting itself into if it thinks it's going to make us the 51st state. America may have all that it has. He listed all this stuff, but Canada has francophones. Unleash the francophones.
Enjoy the game tonight if you're listening to this on Thursday. Oh, what did you do for Family Day?
What did I do for Family Day? You know what I did?
What?
I put the final touches on our website, and it's good to go.
Oh, we're announcing that today. That's so exciting. Oh, okay, wait, this calls for a fanfare. That'll do. Okay, go ahead. Oh, Lisa, I'm so proud of you. Okay,
Yes,
here we go.
Gracefully and frankly.com is up and running and ready to go. And you can do things so easily there, more easily than elsewhere. Send us a voice message, go to the boutique, listen to past episodes, send us a note, leave a review. It's a whole lot of fun. And we're really excited about people checking it out. We'd love your feedback about it. Gracefully and frankly.com. And you keep giving me credit, but we did this together. It was just through my fingers, that's all.
Okay, are there links to Envy Pillow and Sierra Sil?
Yes, there are.
Yay, because
Yeah.
people say, how do you spell Sierra Sil? And, there are other pillows that sound like envy. That's because they're envious. But, I'm so excited. So now we can say February 20th is not just Rob's and my wedding anniversary on a snowy day in Toronto, but it's the birth date of gracefullyandfrankly.com. It'll be so easy to remember. And it's all about me.
That's even better. Yay! Can't wait till you're back on this side of the 49th parallel.
Yes, and the show next week will be the last one from down here in California. And then the week after, I don't even know where I'm going to be, but it's always an adventure.
Bye for now.
Bye! I got to click on that website. Hope she used good pictures of us.